Yo, what's going on everyone? It's Chase. So today we will cover Bitcoin, Ethereum, Avalanche, and Solana. As usual, these videos are sponsored by Prime XBT. Big shout out to them. Check out my links at the bottom. And as usual, nothing in the video is financial advice, etc., etc. So a lot of people ask me, how do you find these levels? How are the levels so precise? Shit like that. Now, I'm not here to say that the levels are perfect. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're wrong. But yeah, every now and then, like my AAVE 78 buy. I mean, this one was pretty obvious, right? You had your old demand here, so resistance, and, sort of switches to demand here, origin of impulse up, and then you have this swing low. So that's just like an amazing setup right there. Swing low into demand that, caused the move up essentially. And then I took profits on this today. Well, for the remainder of the position, I had like 50% open on remainder. I had originally took 95, so like right around here, all this price action right here. I took some 95, and then took the rest today at 103. Simple, right? Just look at the daily. Look at the daily closes. Support, support, support. Most likely going to flip to resistance. Could break through, sure. But if it wants to, I have my spot orders from 30s. If you look up my AVAX Road to 100 post, I literally say that I'll be buying more. Price was up here, and I said I'll be buying more if price goes into the red box. I mean, at that time I said blue box, but we have a red box here. And price came down to the red box. I bought more, average entry in the 30s. So that's the bag that I'll hold, some of that OG spot bag. But for the spot that I bought at 78, took full profits by here, okay? And again, you have just demand level, swing low, right into it, easy peasy. All right, so let's start with Bitcoin. Thought about these charts for a while. So I have some of the levels pre-marked. It's tough to say. Bitcoin's in a tough place right now. Overall, when we talk about the market, if we refer to the FOMC today, seemed like the stance was basically that they're going to be tapering asset purchases, but there's no real rate reduction yet. Let's take a look at how, well, there you go. S&P, ES, whatever you want to say, is responding by looking like it's going towards all-time highs again. So short term, most likely bullish. Let's talk about ETH first, actually, because I had drawn this out for ETH. I said if I had to draw out a path for ETH, it looks like this, 3,500 to 4,300. This was before the FOMC, and look, we basically didn't really get this move. Front run a tiny bit on this, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes, right? And now headed towards red. So if we look at the ETH chart, what we had, what was this on? I was on the daily here, So this was where I thought it was going to go up a little bit more, but it didn't. And what it did was simply just come back down, front ran this level a little bit. I wanted to get in here. I had my fills all right in there. Did not get filled here, so I didn't get a fill there. I had all my bids in here. Didn't get filled. Shit happens. But now I'd expect that we should be on the road towards here-ish, 4,400. Probably knock off some spot ETH at 4,400. It was the break in market structure, right? We can see high, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low. You could just keep going until here, and then you break down, you break market structure right here, come down and break market structure. And then that seems to have served as a resistance point. You have a little deviation here, a little deviation here, but eventually this is what rejects and sends us down. Also, once this level was broken here, it really sent us down. So this is sort of a key level for me right here, the 4450 level, I believe it is. Yeah, 4450. So until we get back up above here and do something like this and flip this area, I'm cautiously bullish up until here. Get through here and probably potentially new all-time highs, or at least take liquidity above here and then see what we do at that point, right? Probably something like that, blah blah blah. You know how it goes. Okay, so that's really it for now on Ethereum. I don't know about relonging this level. I mean, it just gets tested so many times. I mean, I guess it could provide support here on the reclaim and just go. I imagine it could do that. More likely is probably we dig into, I guess we either go or we could dig into here, right? And I mean, look, I think if we dig into here, this is probably a good long. The question is, do you get good risk reward? We would expect that this low stays intact. Yeah, I mean, you get 2 risk reward at 43.50 on a take profit. It's not a bad trade, actually. It's not a bad trade. The reason I'm not saying that I'm taking anything or taking or not taking anything is because honestly I wanted my entry here, and if I go here it does feel like I'm reaching a bit, cause look at how close I was, right here, and I had all my bids right in here. So it's a bit unfortunate, and that usually rubs me the wrong way. I usually like to take a little 1-2 day break and just see, is it headed in my direction, and if it does, where I was going to take profit is usually, like I said, I'll knock a little spot off and maybe I'll even short a little bit, something like that. But yeah, I think that's mostly it for ETH. We'll go back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just like, in my opinion, just underperforming, like consistently. It feels like, I feel like a lot of people are interested. I mean, what does FBTC look like? Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. It just feels like it's always underperforming. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, I'm not hugely interested in Bitcoin right now when ETH, not only is the price action trading cleaner, in my opinion, but it's also just performing better overall. Like, if you want to have a spot bag right now, you probably want to have ETH over Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I mean, sweep this into resistance, right? Look at this resistance, right? Support probably flips to resistance. You have a little swing high here. Come up, take the swing high, push into resistance, reject. I don't know. Personally, I think we need to take out this low eventually. Seems weird because this is like a chain liquidation built wick. I'm not actually sure if we fill it, but I don't know. I don't see much. I mean, we didn't really. I mean, I guess we took liquidity below here, and that's sort of what's now providing support. Yeah, I'm trying to go through more of this video is less snappier than the others because I've been getting people who are saying, they'd like to hear more of the thought process behind things. So I'm trying to, talk through thoughts on the fly a bit, whereas usually, beforehand I would take a look and try to get my reasonings down. But yeah, I'm just thinking aloud for now. I mean, yeah, you're getting support off this level. This is sort of where you took liquidity. If you break down below here, you're probably pushing back down to here. 48 to 53 would be a good move. This probably correlates. I mean, this easily correlates for ETH with going to 4,400, 4,500. If Bitcoin can push to here, then ETH easily pushes to here, no problem. The question is, can Bitcoin make that move? Because it hasn't had a great recovery, honestly. It's been, sort of bear flag here, but it is also compression, and now you're having these highs built up. When you start getting all these highs built up, eventually you're going to get something like this that just wipes out all the highs in like a day. That's going to happen sooner than later. I'm not sure if it's here or if it's a deviation and then it does it, or if it's just a slow, boring downtrend, and then fills it all. One way or another, it's going to fill that liquidity eventually. So that'll be a play. But again, for me right now, we're in the middle of areas. You know, we're just very lost in the middle. I didn't have that level before, right? And look, we're in the middle. You look at ETH, for me at least, we're in the middle. And the middle is not usually where I prefer to take trades. I usually I prefer to be on the extreme side, one way or the other, either towards the highs or towards the lows. That's where you're typically going to get your best risk reward. So overall, flat on BTC right now. If we get back down towards here, probably going to look to bid this. Especially, I'll take a long if we just sweep this low. It's easy, right? You either sweep it and reclaim or you don't. A sweep of it should get bought up pretty quickly. Nothing more than, you know, something like this. If it did come down, you should get this, and that should literally be it. Maybe a little bit more, maybe something like that, right? And then you should reclaim. And optimally, you get like something where you come down, slow moving, consolidation, putting in like a rounded bottom, and then everyone's like, oh, the bottom's in, boom, and then it's really in. And that's like, that would be amazing. But hey, you know, you don't always get what you want, right? So that's right now, I'm just drawing things that I'm interested in and plans that I have. But outside of that, I'm just chilling on Bitcoin. I don't have a lot of interest in it. When we look towards Ethereum, sell some in the red. I mean, you can just see this, right? Just look at this range. Low, high, low, high, low, high, deviation, puts in the low, puts in a high. It's just, you know, if it goes back towards the high, it's been resistance all these other times except for this major deviation here. Probably resistance again. And if not, I mean, that's fine. In my opinion, you know, as the Fed said today, they're looking for, you know, rate hikes within the next couple meetings. You have 8 meetings a year. So overall, I don't see that as necessarily macro bullish. I know a lot of things can change, but ultimately, you know, the whole bull run from crypto to tech to S&P to everything was just stimulus, COVID, extremely low rates, essentially negative rates or zero rates. And when you take that away, you know, cash becomes king in a risk-off scenario. We may see that in the coming years. So maybe I'm jumping the gun on that thought process. And I definitely think that, you know, we could easily have another, you know, year of partying or something. But all I'm saying is that I'm not taking profits for granted. That's the point of this. When I'm talking about taking profits and even taking some spot profits, I'm not taking profits for granted, and I'm not playing with the idea that we're still gonna keep zero rates forever and go to 10,000 and double price. It could, and I'll keep some. I always keep the moon bag, right? You always keep a moon bag, but, you know, maybe this at best, as far as I'm seeing right now, maybe 5.5, maybe 6. I don't know if we have some crazy strong rally towards the middle of next year. But then again, you never know with COVID. You really don't. If they keep the monetary policy really loose, or they say that they're going to do asset purchases again, or, you know, ramp them back up or something, you know, who knows? Things could fly. That's why when a lot of people talk about like long-term price targets and stuff, it's ridiculous. Who the fuck knows what could happen? Some crazy new disease could come in and then start wiping people out, and everything could tank. You never know what's going to happen with long term. So profits are there. You got to take them sometimes. Leave a moon bag. Simple as that. Let's move on. Let's look at AVAX. AVAX. Actually, don't know why I wanted to look at AVAX. I don't think I actually want to look at it. I don't think I have much to say. Yeah, resistance. So I took some profits here, and that was it, right? We caught this whole move. If you follow me, we caught this whole entire thing from to the fucking pip. $78 all the way to 103, 35% move. Happy with it. For all I care, AVAX could range in here for a while. Who knows? Could flip this level, but it's going to need to build some type of a base in here, if so, before it really like flips this to support and continues moving upwards. The support at this range high, somebody was asking me about that. It's a good question. I don't know. I think this resistance is meaningful, at least for now. And this is only the first test of it. If you do get this, you probably do get a bounce to retest this resistance. That could be a short-term trade, and then probably reject it again. And I wouldn't be buying again. But yeah, that's about it for AVAX. Honestly, I didn't really have much to say about it. I only brought it up because I remember someone was asking about how I got so precise on the 78, and someone was asking me a question about this range high. So if you're watching, hopefully that helped. Let's take a look at Solana. Okay, Solana. I think like 190s is resistance on Solana. I'd probably take some profit there, maybe look for a short there. Ultimately, I see Solana going towards this low right here. Let's just delete everything. Like if you look at this chart and you're just like, where's the liquidity and where's untested support, right? So we're gonna take the AVAX play and we're gonna do it again. Look. It's not that difficult, right? Let's find the swing low. Let's find untapped support, right? Untapped demand. All you did was go up from here and tap it here, but you never tested the rest. So when you test this, that should be good to go. That should be a good buy right there, okay? So what we're looking for is a run of the 137. We got bids in here. Should pierce this, and it shouldn't go too deep. Let's draw something out. And again, you know, don't go to exactly what I say here. You know, you could go in here and you could bid here. You could do half in here and half on the reclaim. You know, I'm just here to provide the idea. It's really, at the end of the day, it all comes down to you. You're never going to copy trade your way to success. But, you know, think about something like this, and then where would our target be? Well, it really all depends on what happened, how far this candle goes right here and what we test here. But ultimately, we probably end up with some type of a target like this, and then you get about 4 risk reward, which is a great trade. Okay, and all we're doing is looking for a run of this swing low right here, 137, and then we come up towards, we got 3-day resistance here. We can bring this down to the daily. Yeah, we can see this daily block right here, right in the 190s. As I said, if we're going right to the 190s right now, this is what I see as resistance as well. Is this a short? I don't know, because the markets can tend to be a bit overzealous, so to say. They get a bit euphoric, and sometimes you can overshoot. But let's put it this way. If we overshoot and then come back down and this flips back into resistance, I wouldn't doubt that we're headed towards this swing low right here. So that would be a potential short opportunity right there. Apparently I can't draw a circle. Yeah, that would be a short opportunity right there. And that's about it for Solana. So we have our buy area. We have a possible short setup. When we look at ETH, we have a possible sell area. But right now we're in the middle. Don't really want much to do with the middle. BTC, we're in the middle. Don't want much to do with that. And AVAX, again, you know, potential little scalp long off there, but nothing to speak about really. And that's it. Trying to think if I have any discussion topics to talk about. It's been a weird week, I suppose, with all the FOMC stuff. And you know, just with the markets, you know, breaking down a bit. A lot of people getting very overly emotional, so to say. you know, the reality is that stuff tends to happen when people's portfolios go down. I mean, it's people's livelihoods. So when you see, like, I posted the picture of the AMC quote unquote investor meeting. I mean, it's a joke, right? Like, let's take a look at AMC. Wish I played puts on this. I was fucking sleeping. I mean, it doesn't get much cleaner, right? You have this huge formation, right? And I mean, I know not everyone follows for stocks, but this stuff can be helpful, right? You have this huge formation, and look at how many times it fails to break out, fails to break out, fails to break out, fails to break out. And I was in calls here. I was expecting for it to break out towards 60. I was like, yo, this is a huge flag. Like, it's a huge pennant, right? Because it's not really a flag. It's a huge pennant, right? And I was expecting this to break. And when it didn't break right here on like the 4th attempt I cut, I was already down like, I don't even know, 40% or something. But, you know, whatever. Better 40% loss of my risk than 100% of the risk that I put in. And then you have this area right here that was, you know, your support that led to these moves. And once this broke down and you sort of broke structure right here, right? Because you just have higher lows, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. You broke down below the higher low. I mean, that was your really good short right there, but I didn't get that. Nor did I get this, but I was sleeping. But I would have 100% got this. I probably wouldn't have gotten this one because I would have thought, you never know what fuckery could go on, and it could just bounce off here and go. But then you got this low, you got these lows, and it just flipped them perfectly, and down it goes. And yeah, down here, my point was, down here you got your investor meeting, and it's just funny, right? Like the chart sort of looks broken. You know, maybe it could recover. I don't know. Like I said, who knows what the fuck happens? It could recover, but as far as I'm concerned, when they held the investor meeting, this is a broken chart. And it doesn't look like there's going to be some type of a grand recovery towards, you know, 45 or something anytime soon, in my opinion. But yeah, you know, like I said, a lot of people get upset quickly when it comes to their bags, and you know, that stuff's always going to show on CT, especially where you got a lot of people trying to get rich quick and trying to make it. And all I can do is continue to say the same shit, you know, play it a level at a time, keep your risk in check, don't go crazy, because if you're keeping your risk in check and you're not, you know, trading out of your means or anything, and you're playing it a level at a time, you're going to learn. You're going to learn, and you're going to improve, and you're going to build, and that's what I've been doing for years now. I probably could have been, you know, a retiree along with, you know, some of the other, you know, people on CT that, you know, are probably sitting on 10 plus mil. But honestly, you also gotta risk it for the biscuit, right? Because for those people on CT that have made that, you know, let's say 8 mil, 10 mil, something like really, really comfortable, where you're pretty much set for life, if you want to say, depending on how you live. But mostly, you know, I feel like 10 mil, you're pretty set. But for every single person that, you know, cashed out that 10 mil, there's fucking 20 others, 100 others that could have taken a slower approach and made a good life for themselves, but instead they, you know, they put that leverage up, or they put 2 million on the size when they really should be trading 200,000. You know, and they got blown out and they got washed up, and now they're back at that 9-to-5 office job, and the dream is gone. So don't ever kill the dream. Keep practicing, keep improving, stay within your means, stay within your risk, and it's really as simple as that. And just keep working, keep striving towards your goals, keep improving. That's it. Great time as always. Check out my links at the bottom. Shout out Prime XBT for sponsoring these videos. That's about it. Peace out.